For me, there's a simple rule in politics. Never, ever be surprised by what happens in politics.
The face of truth is open. The eyes of truth are bright. The lips of truth are ever closed. The head of truth is upright. The breast of truth stands forward. The gaze of truth is straight. Truth has neither fear nor doubt. Truth has patience to wait. The words of truth are touching. The voice of truth is deep. The law of truth is simple. All you sow, you reap. The soul of truth is flaming. The heart of truth is warm. The mind of truth is clear and firm through rain and storm. Facts are only its shadow. Truth stands above all sin. Great be the battle of life. Truth in the end shall win. The image of truth is the cross. Wisdom's message is its rod. The sign of truth is Christ, and the soul of truth is God. Life of truth is eternal. Immortal is its past. Power of truth shall endure. Truth shall hold to the last.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living room. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
How are you being impacted by the inclemency of the weather? Also coming up this afternoon, the broadcast as usual, we have our NewsSpin news of the day and the NewsSpin question of the day. And somebody takes apart the Prime Minister's decision to grant public sector workers a $500 bonus come December of this year. All that and more between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon. Amanda is here, so she's already going through some of the comments in the chat room. She'll have some reports for us, and I'll be interacting with you in just a moment when you call at 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026, as you listen to the broadcast on Power 97.9 FM, also via TuneIn and Radio Garden, and the NewsSpin Facebook page, as well as the NewsSpin YouTube channel. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the channel grow. How is the weather impacting you today? It's been flooding, I'm told, in various parts of the island, in particular in the nation's capital, would have disrupted business operations to a certain extent, as well as disrupted classes. For example, we have a video to share with you of classes being disrupted at the Castries Comprehensive Secondary School. We hope we could show you that in just a moment. Flooding at the CCSS early on today. I don't know what is the situation at the other learning institutions around the island, but that is what we are privy to as far as one classroom at the CCSS earlier on today. But a strong tropical wave is producing scattered showers, also partly cloudy skies, and definitely flooding, as I said early on, in certain parts of the island. No matter what, we hope that you are in a position to weather the storm. Some other developments to follow. Good news coming from the police with regard to the battle against criminal activity in St. Lucia and ridden our streets of illegal firearms and ammunition. According to a press release, the Royal St. Lucia Police Force on Tuesday, the 23rd of September, of course that is today at about 4 a.m., continued its intensified efforts to crack down on gun violence across the island. A series of coordinated operations were carried out in the communities of Conway, Barnard Hill, and Marcia Castries. During the course of these operations, 6 warrants were executed, 2 in Marcia and 4 in Conway, Barnard Hill. Officers also conducted vehicular checkpoints in the targeted areas, resulting in the impounding of 4 vehicles. As part of the operation, one individual, Malik Philip of Conway, was arrested and is expected to face nearly 100 charges later today. So to be more precise, 96 charges. And these include 24 counts of possession of firearm and ammunition, 24 counts of importation of firearms into St. Lucia, 24 counts of customs-related offenses for illegally imported goods, 24 counts of fraudulent evasion under the Customs Act. These charges stem from an intercepted barrel at Port Castries containing firearms seized in a joint effort by the Customs and Excise Department and the Guns, Narcotics and Firearms Unit. And it continues there that the successful operation was conducted by the Special Operations Team, the Guns, Narcotics and Firearms Unit, the Marshall Police Station, the Northern Tactical Team, and the Special Services Unit. The RSLPF says it remains committed to addressing the threat of illegal firearms and ensuring the safety of all citizens. We hope to have some more information to share with you from the Press Relations Department of the Royal St. Lucia Police Force. A number of citizens are coming out and using social media in a very positive way to basically call upon criminal elements in our society to change their ways and to cease using illegal firearms and ammunition to snuff up or snuff out the lives of other people and to create mayhem in our St. Lucian society and to create an unsettling environment in our nation and bring, of course, our nation's reputation into disrepute. We hear from consider him to be an ordinary citizen of the country, saw his video on Facebook for the first time, and his name is Francis Edmonds, and is calling on the young men of St. Lucia to put down the gun and also to stop the violence.
You all ghetto youths, you all I talking to. Me say stop the nonsense you're doing in the country, me say. Me say stop them kind of vibe you're doing there. Before a man talk, you want to pull trigger already. Fellas, you're talking about tough. You're talking about, you're pulling a trigger on somebody like it's nothing. Me say, people are coming back to life, you know, when you kill them. And even when you all lose your life, you're not tired of seeing sisters, mothers crying over caskets. You're not tired of seeing them things? Over your caskets, your children. Some of your guys, you'll have little children, you're living there. 2 years old, 3 years old, guys. Leaving them young girls there to fend for themselves and hustle up, struggle with them children because you're not there. You're either in the cemetery or you're in prison. Me say, I demanding you to stop them nonsense, you know. Stop that kind of way of life. Me say, there's more to life than that. Me say, find a job. Get your driver's license, me say. Some of y'all went to school, you're educated, but y'all just feel you want to take the wrong way, the wrong path. And the same people that influencing y'all in the ghetto, y'all realize endless fellas dying and leave them fellas there? For what? For $200 in your pocket, a pair of wrist slippers and a Lacoste? Huh? Did you only want to have your boost there? You only want to have your bike flexing? Your girl behind your flexing? You only want to have a little house? You only want to have your car and taking your feet? Me say take your feet, me say I'm not trying to promote your smoking your weed or whatever or drinking your rum, but I prefer your going and flex yourself with your partners, your brethren, relax yourself, me say enjoy life. You check it? Make your parents happy, me say you're disappointing your parents too much, me say you're just hurting people. You know, some of your parents talking to you on TV, you'll die, you're just not listening, me say you're not obeying. Me say hold it down, me say. And I'm not just telling you all that, me say, I know ghetto youths that make a complete turnaround in their lives. You understand me? Fellas that used to do things, fellas that was already taking the wrong path and decide, listen, I have to take an about turn with my life and make it go down well for me. You can get good young ladies in your life to be a support for you all. You check it? You're just leaving how much people there. Because you're putting how much pressure on fellas that are already there. You know, I'm not going to try to play innocent. Fellas that they're trying to hold yourself with one woman, you're putting how much pressure because you know why? You're dying and you're leaving your girlfriend there for another man. You understand? And sometimes a man that have a girlfriend already or maybe a wife. You check it? And you know what happens to y'all? Y'all ain't checking that. That's when y'all die. That's from the cemetery. Fellas eyeing your woman already. And next thing you know, the TV you just buy courts. Fellas have your remote in their hand already at your home. You check it? Fellas have your remote already. They flexing even your boxer they putting on them. Sorry. You check it? That's hold it down, Messier. Stop them nonsense you're doing in the country, Messier. There's more to life, like I said.
Francis Edmonds hope his message will resonate with people who are thinking about turning to a life of crime. That's a reality. A lot of what he said there certainly, I'm sure, would make sense to a number of people. And I think in some instances, it will just fall on some deaf ears because some criminal elements, they have already made up their mind. They don't mind dying because it's all about proving that, that's the way of life that they want to live. It's about bravado. It's about tough talk and tough action. Definitely, we hope that this kind of message will resonate with the young men and even the women of St. Lucia as we continue to battle this serious scourge of crime. Still on the subject of crime, we hear from the Prime Minister and National Security Minister, held a pre-cabinet press briefing yesterday, and he spoke on the subject.
We have some issues. The issue of crime, the vexing issue of crime, which it's something that causes all of us to miss sleep. All of us. Because there is no reason. I want to ask anyone, why do you think that a government, any prime minister, would like a country where there's an escalation in crime? Any prime minister. That's the question I want to ask. Why do you think that this government would want the crime situation to be what it is? And the question is, no one has come with a viable alternative except do more. That's all he said, do more. What's the government doing? Do more.
The island's Prime Minister and Minister with responsibility for national security, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, attracting lots of reaction, lots of comments via the Facebook page. The statement that was made earlier on by Francis Edmonds, slice of life comments coming from him. I don't know if you're in a position already, Amanda, to go through some of the reaction to the statement that was made earlier on by Mr. Francis Edmonds regarding his talk, his suggestion that young men should certainly turn away from the violence, turn away from the illegal guns, because as soon as they die, well, somebody else would be taking control of their girlfriends and their wives and even the television set and the remote and their boxes. That's really being realistic, and that is the reality of life if we continue to lose our young men in that manner in St. Lucia.
Good afternoon, Tim. Good afternoon, Spinners. Tim, a few comments responding to that video. Someone says they're powerful speech. Another commentator reads, very well said, my brother, great advice, bravo. Someone says their next day caller, their girlfriend has a new boo. These criminals won't listen. Someone says their man shortage. A commentator reads, what's a speech, especially the ending? A commentator says, bury me with all my boxers. Commentary says PJP should give mate the portfolio of national security. Somebody says Francis Edmond for Minister of Crime Prevention. Commentary reads he was the past president of the Denry Minibus Association. Commentary reads I love this down-to-earth everyday language speech from Francis. Powerful, take heed. Commentary says very well said, my brother. I hope some of the young men will listen. A comment here reads, the remote in hand and their feet on your center table, Netflix and chilling and baking bread. I think that's about it.
Okay, thank you so much, Amanda. Let's open the lines to take your calls right now at 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026, 716-2026. Somebody says there, I applaud interception of the firearms at the point of entry. Usually it's the customs officers making the interception, then the police would be called in. Now, Tim, there is a statistic that for every one caught, 10 passes. These interceptions should have encouraged the government to install barrel screeners at the port of entry by now. And the person says, I am a retired customs officer. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Somebody says that PJP is addressing the crime situation as if he's a lecturer in a college. Why? We have a call via the landline. Good afternoon. NewsSpin, you're on the air. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, Tim. How are you doing?
I am okay, sir. How are you?
All right. A lot of rain this side.
Very much so.
What's happening? Tim, I think I joined late to this this feature, this not address, but given by the gentleman.
Sir Francis Edmonds.
Francis Edmond, and he's from the Minibus Association. Is that right?
That's what I'm told there in the chat room.
Right. Okay. Now, Tim, I as I said, I only listened to the latter part of it. I didn't hear the whole thing. And she seemed to have had some good comments, I think, from what you said.
Yes.
But now I'm trying to put my hands, I can't get it now, on a report done by a forensic anthropologist from Jamaica. If I get it, I can try and pass it on to you. But basically, he was addressing the crime situation in Jamaica, saying that the reality is that it's not, and I don't mean to be negative, but the reality is it's not as easy as people might think, yeah? Because a lot of these youngsters and so who get involved in crime, criminal activity and so, they live in the now, Tim.
Yeah.
They don't live in the future. They live in the now. And they go and they will do what they want to do, whatever suits them. So the solution or the answers, I don't, from that article, have to be very, very deep. There has to be some extreme incentive or some alternative to get these guys turned away from crime. And you're fighting a lot of odds. Even the jobs. You offer them a job, let's say $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, $4,000 a month. They can do a run and get $20,000 in a run, and get up when they want, and go to bed when they want. So and I think one of the things that struck me about that article, he said not even the fact that these young guys know they have a son or daughter, 1 year old, 2 year old, or 3 year old, not even that is a deterrent to them to maintain their life. They will still go wild as they want to. So it's difficult. It's a difficult thing to tackle, and it means that sometimes you just have to try what you have never tried before. But I'm just saying that because I don't think really it's as easy. It's because after a murder, here we have family, people come in and say, stop this, stop. I mean, if you remember, how many years ago? 10 years ago, maybe or more, Dr. King, as pathologist, had a stop the violence, stop the shooting, because he used to do the postmortems and he would see.
I think it's more than 10 years ago, maybe about 15 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, about that.
And that, if you track 15 years ago to now, you only see an escalation.
Yes.
So this is just like blowing in the wind. But you have to try as much as you can, but I think we're in a fool's paradise to think that that's going to turn around easily like that. And then we see more things happening now. The availability of firearms and so is more accessible than it was 10 or 15 years ago. So the odds are really stacked against some positive moves. But I'll end by saying we have to try as much as possible.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for your contribution. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. We have some more of your messages to go through. Somebody says there, Mr. Prime Minister, this is part of your job description. Why are you asking me for viable alternatives? If you cannot do the job, please step down and give a competent person a chance. And let's see if we have another WhatsApp message. Question of the day, do the force have a hit squad? As far as we can see, we have a call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, you're on the air. Hello?
Hello? Hello, good afternoon, team. Good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, caller.
Yeah, Tim, I have a serious concern. I got a call this morning concerning a patient from the mental wellness center who was very ill, suffering with belly pain and everything like that. And I think they will report that to the nurses, and they didn't do nothing about it. The guy wasn't eating, bawling for pain. At the last moment, I think they took him to OKU. They brought him back. When they see he could not bear no more pain, they brought him back at the OKU hospital. They didn't do nothing about it again. The guy stayed there, suffering. Last moment, I think his SPO went down. They rushed him to the theater, and he did not make it. It's very sad. It's very sad. It's not because they are mental that they are not human. They are human just like us. They're suffering just like us. They have pain just like us. And I think the Ministry of Health need to do a thorough investigation, because too many times patients have been dying in these institutions and nothing have been done about it. These people have family. These people have mothers. They have sisters, they have brothers. And to see their lives going down like that when it could have been saved. It hurts me to see I was a former health aide at the mental wellness center and seeing these things happening. It's very heartbreaking. And I believe they need to do a thorough investigation on whosoever that needs to be accountable for this death. They should have been penalized, which I have great respect for the nurses, for the work they have been doing over the past years. But there is times they have to be responsible. And they need to do a thorough investigation with that death. Thank you, Tim.
Okay, where are you calling from, sir?
Calling from the UK.
All right, okay. Thank you so much for calling. Well, obviously, we cannot make any pronouncement on this or give any statement with regard to what would have led to the death of that patient. But I agree with you, sir, when you say that when people lose their lives in such tragic circumstances while in the care of the state, because being at the mental health institution, that means you're in the care of the state. They are responsible for your well-being. They are responsible for your safety. You were there because you needed some kind of treatment, first psychological treatment and then medical treatment. And if the person has died in such circumstances, definitely it needs to be a thorough investigation. There's need for transparency and accountability to come into the picture. And we'd leave it to the officials at the OKEU and the mental health hospital, the wellness center, to deal with that particular matter. 452-2979, 452-2979. Your WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Somebody says there, the Prime Minister often seems frustrated when people raise questions about crime. With respect, Mr. Prime Minister, no one is suggesting that you support what's happening. What many of us would truly appreciate is if you could take at least 10 minutes to address the nation on this issue, to share your views on the causes, outline possible solutions, and show that citizens can be involved and engaged. Let the criminals know that you have a plan, that strict measures are being considered, and that the police officers have your full support. At times, though, the tone of your addresses can feel as though you're speaking down to us, almost as if to preschoolers. Many of us simply want open, honest communication and a clear sense of direction. Let's take a call on the landline. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Hi. Good afternoon to you, caller.
Good afternoon, Amanda.
Good afternoon, caller.
Tim, you played a tape of Philip Pierre, and I'm a bit puzzled with that tape. In the ending, the gentleman said, all he can do, help me, Tim, because I can't really repeat I can't remember exactly what he said in the ending. He said all he could do is...
Well, basically, to proceed, what he said is that he has given the police the requisite level of support, the resources, the training, and so on. Now we leave it to them as the professionals to engage in the battle against crime. So you did not remember what he said, but you wanted to call to make a pronouncement on what he said, caller?
Yeah, but don't worry, I am going to get that to you. Tim, all what we are hearing Philip Pierre is saying concerning crime is that he gave the police. What is he giving to the police? I want to ask Philip Pierre, what is his role? What is his role? He likes to use the word policy. If you talk to me about policy, I'll be able to say about policy. But Philip Pierre, for the 4 years this man have been serving as our prime minister, he took on a role that's bigger than him. And we haven't seen that man come to the house and draw up policies to help this country with the crime that is happening in the country. There, you know, Tim. We haven't seen that. Hard, tough policies that will help us. Tim, if you remember when the former administration was there, we heard they drew up some policies. They came to the house, they presented it, they let us know what they were doing. They did the border control. They brought in the K9. They spoke about the scanners. They spoke about the CC cameras. I even remember there was a gentleman who did an interview, Tim, saying that I think he was part of the team that set up the CC cameras around the place in Cat Street. Have we seen Philip Pierre make a move like that to help curb the crime problem in the country? The man is just playing politics and beating around the bush with a serious case like what that is happening there in the country concerning the crime. Playing the blaming game, my God, sir. If it was your family that was being affected with what that is happening in the country there, any of your political members or surrogate, you would have done something to help the people. You have all the resources in your possession. You're giving people little step contract there to build drain. Take that money and pump it into the country and put measures in place to help the young people. Timothy, it really hurts me when I sit in front of my gadget, my television, and I am listening to nonsense. And St. Lucian's there playing politics with something as serious as that, saying no government can stop crime. Are you telling me no government cannot stop crime? Look at Singapore. There is a country just on top of us there by the name of Bermuda. I am not hearing these things happening in this country, Tim. Look at how high the crime rate was in Jamaica. And what happened when they disbanded our K9 unit? They sent it, the Jamaicans took it. I remember clearly the opposition leader said to us, when you have these dogs, it is so difficult to get them back. You have to go on a line. You have to go on a line to see if you can get these dogs back. And when St. Lucia turned their backs on these dogs, Jamaica took the dogs, and today Jamaica is boasting to the world that they brought down on the crime rate team. So if you know, if we had hold on to the security measures that the former administration put there, it would not have been Jamaica boasting. It would have been St. Lucia boasting with pride. It would have been our people boasting with crime. I am listening to the Prime Minister of Jamaica saying he wants Jamaicans to go and sleep and leave their house open like they used to do in the past.
But obviously, caller, we can't go back to those days. That's not being realistic. And no. I found it shocking when the Jamaican Prime Minister said that. We have advanced in many areas, including with the proliferation of crime and people having illegal firearms and ammunition and so on. It would be mind-boggling to believe that it's possible that in any part of the Caribbean, including St. Lucia and Jamaica, that people can go to bed and leave their doors and the windows open. That's not possible at all. But what we want in a nutshell is to bring the crime problem under some level of control. That is what is required. But I'd like to thank you so much, caller. We have to move on to another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Hello, Tim.
Yes, caller. Good afternoon to you.
Tim, I'll be very short. I have a simple solution to curb the crime situation in this country. The citizens of this country should ask for a call for demonstration, whichever party, or the party, to have the minister's security guards taken away from them. Let them roam the streets like we do, in fear. And I guarantee you, Tim, that you'll see a change in the crime situation. Because you see, these ministers, they're being protected. They have their bodyguards. So they don't worry about our security. Unless you take away the bodyguards from these ministers and leave them open like us, they will understand what it is to live in fear, okay, of the criminals. But unless we ask as a people to take away the bodyguards, they will never understand what we are going through. We have to make them feel what we are feeling. As I said, I'll be very short, Tim, and if the citizens come together and call a demonstration to remove the security guards and the security for these ministers, you'll see how fast crime is going to go down, because they will get up from the behinds and do something about the crime situation. Thank you very much, Tim. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. You as well. And I think that might just work. 452-2979, your WhatsApp calls and messages, 716-2026. And let me see if I could go through some of your comments via WhatsApp. Somebody says there, Tim, when will the nation realize that the Prime Minister does not have any clue as to what to do with crime, but he has all the responses and answers for what the opposition leader addresses or speaks about? He is a political leader, not Prime Minister. Another call via WhatsApp. Good afternoon, NewsSpin, you're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Timothy Poleon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
I have a concern. And my concern is that most of the young persons right now today, they need a little guidance. St. Lucia has more MEPWI more than counselors. Right now, you get more MEPWI than you get somebody to counsel you. For instance, there is a young man that I know, he came from prison, and that young man got a job. He had to leave the job because why? His enemies liming around that same area. How can we deal with those situations? All right? You see, right now, the young people get so deep into what they do because they have to protect themselves. You go to prison on a certain case, you come out, People after you, what will you do? Where will you go and hide? You cannot go and look for a job. You have to stay at your home because people will come after you. There's a lot going on more than people talk about. And people need to start going out there. They need to start going to the communities, do counseling with the young persons, especially those that just come from prison. Find out what's going on. See what solution that they can come up with in order to help the young persons, instead of bashing one another on social media, talking about this one not doing and that one not doing. What are we doing to help the young people more than just make we giving one another talk back and forth? Come on, I think we just need to do better as a nation in order for our young people to go forward. And the church is lacking as well. The churches need to get out there. The Bible says, go out in the highways and byways. They sit in the organization for people to bring money in there instead of they going out there and preach the word of God. Because the word of God is a two-edged sword. It can pierce through any metal. And once God gives you that spiritual gift that He bless you with or anoint you with, you can cut through anything. You go out there, you preach. It draws somebody closer to God. It might prick a heart of a young man who's going through a struggle, who's going through frustration. All right? They're not doing that. They only just giving mapwe. Just mapwe. I'm just reading a lot of comments on social media, and I say it's just garbage. I think we need to do better than that as people, so our young people will take suit and follow the right path. Have a blessed afternoon.
You too, caller. Thank you so much for your contribution. And let's see if we can take another call via WhatsApp. Hello and good afternoon to you. You are on the air. Please go ahead with your contribution, caller. Hello?
Yes, Tim.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you.
Okay, good afternoon. I believe the crime situation, when the new government comes in, there needs to be an amnesty. Because, like Kenny may have been the one to say that crime who's involved is the police, government officials, and some business people. So the criminals know that it is very difficult for them to be arrested because these are the people that will be involved in the incarceration. So if they have done favors or they are in sync with these people, they can boldly go out there and shoot somebody in broad daylight. Because at the time, when this happens, they know they're going to be back out or they know they're not going to be caught. Somebody will make a phone call and say, drop the man. So what you do, you have this amnesty because I believe over 70% of our police force is involved in some kind of activity, illegal activity, or some conspiring or something. They know something.
But caller, how do you reach that figure? That's an astounding figure. It's 70%. Caller, that's more than half. That's more than half of the police force.
If you talk too much, I'll even raise it. If you talk too much, I'll even raise it. What I'm saying to you is that an amnesty, that all these kind of conspired crimes or whatever that they accommodated, as long as it's not something as strong as murder or something like that, just wipe it off and start afresh. So that when this kid gets arrested and he's in the cell, he knows the phone call is not anymore. This businessman or this policeman can breathe a sigh of relief. We try to start on a new leaf. I believe this is the recommendation for that. Or do an exchange. Take all the policemen from Barbados that don't know these guys, bring them St. Lucia and send all those from St. Lucia to Barbados. As long as it says that the camaraderie is there, the links are there, as long as the links remain, there is nothing much you will be able to do to curb this situation. Because criminals don't like to be caught. If they know they're going to be caught and they get to go to jail, they will not go ahead and be so emboldened. The fact that they know they can get away with it from the magistrate to the lawyer, which reggae artists that song connection, skull bone connected to Dini bone and Dini bone, them kind of thing. As long as this exists in the country, you can't work on that crime thing. Give them an amnesty. Let them breathe a sigh of relief so that nobody can rest on them. I thank you.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Good afternoon to you again, Amanda. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room.
Good afternoon again, Tim. A few comments here on NewsSpin says, a C-plus effort police, but the real impact will be made if the Royal Township Police Force begin their raids and searches in cabinets. Cut off the head, then the criminal networks will be defeated. Commentary reads, the citizens are doing what the government fails to do. A NewsSpinner says, our team tell the policemen there is a lot to be done. They will report later. Another commentary reads, because if our people are not ready to go out and vote at a time when we are at our absolute worst in St. Lucia, general fear and panic because of the high number of violent crimes, wastage of $250 million spent on buildings from after the Second World War in the name of a hospital in 2025, no explanation for almost $3 billion in CIP funds, the 30-year lease of 2 of our ports whilst agreeing that we cannot develop the ports of our second CTVA4, the deplorable and shameful wasteland that said second CTVA4 is after almost 30 years of labor representation, or rather misrepresentation, the silencing and compromising of the media by directly hiring most of them in government positions, and those who were not hired bullied, insulted and victimized by government ministers. The highest cost of fuel in the Caribbean, unaffordable grocery prices, to name a few reasons for voting out this inept, out-of-touch government. If they still need reasons, then our. Someone says our ordinary citizens are talking tough, making more sense than our Prime Minister. A commentary reads, PJP disbanded the viable option to crime. A NewsSpinner says, PJP, we need the version of you from the campaign platform. Yes, that passionate one. Another commentary reads, there should be no bail for gun-related offenses, a mandatory 30 years when one is caught with a gun. Commentary reads, you know what I am saying? Some of us are just being too hypocrites, because I will tell you why. How much of those people that claim to be peacemakers and one day they will walk to the community or the neighborhood and say, hey guys, enough is enough. Let us see how we can work our way through this. But yet they come on social media and they have the worst things to say. And the contribution is garbage all about politics and politics. While our young people are suffering mentally and spiritually, it's such a shame when we point fingers at people just to score cheap political points. And is that? Someone says here, it is unfair for law-abiding citizens to be fearful of venturing outside while the bad boys are roaming the streets with their guns in their hands like it's gun branching day. Commentary reads, if PJP would address the criminals the same way he speaks on the political platform, at least 1 or 2 would listen. Commentary says PJP should not only contribute resources to the police, but also a strategic plan to combat crime as the National Security Minister. NewsSpinner says they're also both the opposition and the government united to combat crime and did change some laws. A commentary says, let me just say no political party has to lead the change. St. Lucians should be fed up with what's happening to our children. A commentary said, well said, caller. It's the same solution that is needed for our healthcare crisis. Take away all the ministers' bodyguards so they can live in fear like the rest of the population, and also stop paying for them to get overseas medical attention, forcing them to go to the local hospitals unless they can pay out of their pockets. That will solve both the crime and healthcare problems.
Thank you so much, Amanda. We have a call. Good afternoon to you. This is NewsSpin. You are on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Poleon.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon to you, caller.
And respect to you for the job that you do. You give us an opportunity to express ourselves, because there's nowhere else can you do that in this world. It's only on your platform because it's the best. Listen to me, Tim. Tim, I heard Jeremiah on the television, on the network last night, talking about going deeper into finding the people who are aiding and abetting and helping the criminals and having them been prosecuted also. And I say all good and well for Jeremiah, because he can talk all that gibberish. Because, number one, guns from the Grosley police station have been sold, disappeared from the police station in Grosley. Everybody know that. 11 judicial killings. Nobody answer for that yet. Guns disappear from Ancillary Station. Nobody don't answer for that yet. Tell me where the corruption is, because all these guns belong to the police. So at the end of the day, when Jeremiah want to come and play tough on television and talk on the People Network, he has to know what he's dealing with. John Broughton was here investigating them. You know what they did? They for them to vote in the election, they caused the former SLP party to get rid of him so they can take charge. Take charge of what? Is to go back to doing the same things that they're accustomed doing. They don't want a leader that doesn't know them. If you notice, let's get real, Mr. Poleon. The acting commissioner of police, like when the killings happened in town, they interviewed this man somewhere. I don't know where they got him. He was supposed to be the acting commissioner because the commissioner had gone on vacation. This man is caught with a t-shirt on him, with a little sling bag, just like the little gangsters they have on them on his side, and talking. You think you could ever get the deputy commissioner of police of Iran in that situation? And my point is, when you have a police commissioner, when you come to interview him or when you see him, he must always be ready for battle. That's how you know you have a police force. But when you interview a man, okay, that's a guy I know that grew up in a primary school crying with coal in his nose and all kind of things. You telling me, Yasser, they interview mates after the killings in town. Mates they're talking for the police presence, and he's just dead. I mean, you have a bag on your side. All the gangsters in town have a bag on their side. Change your portfolio if you want to set an example. You don't be dressing like the people. You're talking just like them. You have to be professional. I don't know which camera catching it, when catching, but he should have said, give me an opportunity statement, and then make an official statement. The point that somebody will spot on you, okay, I understand, because there was something I did at school called impromptu speaking. So you must be ready to speak when you spot on. So here it is. Cameras come before you. You're supposed to be acting police commissioner. So you're talking as a, so you're speaking to a nation. Look at your dress code. What killed me was the sling bag on the side, because I expected better from him, not that kind of dress code. So it just shows, Garson. It just shows, again, who gets all government projects in the ghetto community? The top-notch criminal of the community. It ain't no top-notch businessman in the community, you know. The top-notch criminal of every community have a government contract where they can go and withdraw thousands of dollars from the government entities and then pay the law-abiding citizens $100 a day and take the lump sum. How these guys have big Colorado funds? How these guys have so many vehicles? These guys never contribute a cent to the NIC. I continue to say they never contribute a cent to the development of this country. The people that contributing to the country, they don't have no Colorado. You understand? These people are the ones that they love because they want when they reach in the ghetto, or when they reach, then their belly swell up. When they reach, they play in gangster of Mexico. All of them, they'll do it. When they come in the ghetto, the criminals they're going to link up with, they will talk to one or two citizens. But the real connection is with the criminals, because the criminals have all government contracts. So you see, all when they're talking about crime, and all they're talking about crime, don't mind them. It's a mere form. It's just to fool you because the system thrives on crime. If there's no crime, how could the system survive? It will never survive. The system could never survive without crime. It needs the crime. They need to be able to have a disruptive system where they can go and say, you know what, we need that because that's the only way they can work. Secondly, when you tell me you have a Prime Minister, he said he is the Minister of National Security.
Think we have lost the caller. Are you still there? Go ahead, caller.
Okay, if you are somewhere in a situation where you, with Philip J. Pierre, tell me, and J. Pierre, he's the Minister of National Security. You don't think Philip J. Pierre going to do anything to protect you or to prevent you from getting hurt? He can't do it. He doesn't have the body to do it. He doesn't have the stamina, the strength to do it. He can't protect you anywhere. But he is collecting the salary as national security. And then he says,
no, but caller, that's not his job. Caller, that is not his job to protect you directly as a citizen.
Understand. But he can make a statement. The statement alone can protect you, know. When you make a solid statement. When a man make a statement, it's what he says. Based on how he says what he says. Because you know what it is when you go to court. Based on how you say, what you say, then people can take it seriously. But when you make foolish statements, he getting all the protection in the world. When he passing on the road, it is free big black vehicles. Oh, he getting all protection on the road. But then the law-abiding citizens, what protection they have? There's nothing. Can make calls from the prison, send videos from the prison. If you don't pay your internet bill outside here, that TV channel will cut you. I mean, let's look at it. It's easier to be a criminal than to be a law-abiding citizen. Law-abiding citizens have no benefit. Citizens, as they say, when the only benefit government have in law-abiding citizens is when they issue tickets to them, and like they say, they just run and take loans to pay the ticket because they don't want to go to prison. Criminals just dash away their tickets and make the call, like the previous caller said. They're making a call, and them tickets disappear. Everything they're doing, they have somebody to call to get them out of every situation. And everybody knows how it is in St. Lucia. Not today that's happening, no? For years that's going on. For years, and there's no answer, nothing. Cops do so many things. The evidence go missing. They kill the dog. Now, that one said me something else. You're telling me, all the people we have in St. Lucia are doing an autopsy. I said don't want no autopsy when I die. You know why? Because if a dog, they can't find an autopsy on a dog. So long, they do state funeral for a dog. Okay? And up to now, nobody don't know what happened to the dog. And when I die, you're telling me they're going to cut me, take out my lungs, wait, do all that nonsense to find out what killed me when they know I died in an accident or when they know I died for a gunshot. They know well. So why are they doing autopsy? This whole thing is just a mess. How when Arabs die, you're not doing autopsy on them? How when the Muslims die, they're doing autopsy? Only in the Caribbean and they're doing that nonsense. If you don't want no autopsy, if you die by a gunshot, when there's a gunshot that kills him, he gets 6 bullets, when there's a bullet that kills him, why would you open him up to see what that killed him? You want to find the exact cause of death? Is that necessary? It's not. So these people are a bunch of, it's a whole system, a corrupt system, from the top to the bottom corrupt. And if they have no corruption, there will be no money. The only way the money making is under corruption. No corruption, no money. So if you want the system to cease, if you want the government to stop functioning, just let them do have corruption. Then nothing not running. But once corruption running, you will not stop it. Tomorrow there will still be another killing. The day after there will still be another one. And the day after there will still be another one. No matter what we say on the airwaves, every day there will be a killing. And they know it. No matter how you see the police pretending to be like they're all over the streets and stuff. When the bad boys passing in the roadblock, you're letting them pass. They're waving them. You coming down the road with your vehicle. Standard plates. Proper tires. No tint. You there like you use bait. That they stopping. The bad boy in the back. They're waving him when he's passing, and he's passing straight. But you, that following the law, they're stopping you and bullragging you on the road. Your plates black and white, your tires in order. Your stick on your windshield, they're still bullragging you. And the bad boy, they can't see in the car, they just know his plate. He was passing, kick it, and he passing, kick it, so he passing and he going. I've seen it happen several times. These guys are a bunch of jokers. John Broughton was the best for them. They need supervision, all of them. They need to, but not from a Lucian person. They need supervision from a force that doesn't know them at all. Then you will see clarity in St. Lucia. As long as them fellas that supervising them own fellas, they don't have no independent body to deal with them. That's the kind of country we're going to have. Thank you very much.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for calling. Certainly appropriate that we take a break at this time. This is the most monitored talk show in the world. Got travel plans? Don't let paperwork slow you down. The Briefcase is making applications for passports and visas faster, easier, and stress-free. VA4 and Environs, the Briefcase, they are here to serve you. Whether it's your first passport or renewal, let them do it for you. The Briefcase also assists with applications for police records, U.S. visa applications, ETA for Canada and the UK, birth certificates, and business registration, and more. This coming Saturday, the 20th of September 2025, visit the Briefcase upstairs, Chanel's Plaza, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. or call 718-8624, 718-8624, or 713-7503 to book. 713-7503 to book. The main office of the Briefcase is on High Street, Castries, opposite the Electoral Department, and they are opened Mondays to Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. No lines, no hassle, no stress. Just expert help when you need it.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of a secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control, all so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Lazarus's Funeral Home is here for you. Lazarus's Private Cemetery offers a peaceful resting place for your loved ones. With tranquil settings, visitation, and reflection, we believe in the compassionate care of all our departed loved ones. Lazarus's Private Cemetery, let us help you create a final resting place. Make it special. Make it Lazarus's Funeral Home, your friend in a time of need. Payment plans are available for tombs. Call us in Vidbute at 452-7491 or in New Dock Road, VA4, 454-6555.
Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Select. No more paper, no more mess. Easy billing, no stress. Use my account to pay online. Pay your bill at any time. Get the stress off your mind. No more standing in line.
Visit Lucelect.com today and sign up to my account to pay your bill. Request a temporary or new connection or switch an account to your tenant's name. Do it all online.
Personal, paperless. Use the virtual service desk. Are you ready? Get set. Let's go green with Select.
At Flow, loyalty pays back. Big time. That's why we're rewarding our customers with $400 in vouchers. That's like 6 months off your mobile bill, back in your pocket. Simply add mobile to your current home internet plan and claim your $400 in rewards today. At Flow, loyalty pays back. That's how we keep your rhythm flowing.
Have you had a stroke or symptoms like numbness, headaches, or back pain? When your body sends a warning, don't wait. MRI is the gold standard for seeing what other imaging can miss, like brain damage, spine issues, and early cancer. At La Clinique de Corps, we are the only center in St. Lucia offering the most advanced MRI technology. Fast, radiation-free, expertly interpreted, and insurance accepted. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique de Corps, Center of Excellence, where quality meets expertise.
At First National Bank, we believe being first means putting you first. Your first home, we've got the mortgage. Starting your first business, count on our commercial loans. Dreaming of your first car? Drive it home today. Heading to college? Let's fund that first big step with a student loan. No matter the milestone, make First National Bank your first choice for all your loan needs. First in service, first in trust, first for you. Call us at 455-7000 or visit your nearest First National Bank branch today so we can help put you first. First National Bank, here for you.
Your favorite event of the year is back. Project Chocolat presents Souk of Blood, the ultimate all-white experience featuring Ola Tunjay.
In the engine room, we go jam instead.
Umpa.
Press off your one drop.
Backed up by TYP.
I want to go.
To Soufre, Saturday, October 4th, Souk of Blood. Also featuring Sir Lancelot, Hollywood HP, DJ Shocking, and hosted by MC Donaville. Regular tickets $120. All inclusive VIP $350. Very limited, no door sales. Available at the Cell Island Wide, Mambo's Bar in Soufre, and 4circustickets.com. Souk of Blood. Saturday, October 4th, from 7 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. Remember the dress code, all white.
Everybody! You asked and we listened. If you missed it, we're bringing back the Quartz Mega 3-hour flash sale. This Thursday, September 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. only. Enjoy a massive 40% off store-wide on credit purchases and 15% off on cash purchases. 3 hours, one chance, huge savings you can't afford to miss. This Thursday, September 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. sharp. Terms and conditions apply. Quartz, bringing value home.
This is the most monitored talk show in the world, where we continue with your calls and your WhatsApp messages. Once again, 452-2979, 452-2979. WhatsApp calls and messages 716-2026. Again, 716-2026. In a moment, we'll be turning our attention to Amanda. We'll be going through some of your comments in the chat room. Let us see if we have a call via WhatsApp as we say hello. Good afternoon.
Tim.
Hi, good afternoon to you, caller. You are on the air.
I gather we had about 10 or 12 homicides last week.
Yeah, close to 10.
What do you think would happen if we had 30 in 1 week?
I don't think that anyone would be too alarmed. I think it would be more of the same from the authorities and more of the same from the St. Lucian public. But there would be outrage. I think there would be outrage overseas, beyond the shores of St. Lucia. People would be alarmed.
Well, what people are you talking about?
Overseas, I'm talking about fellow Caribbean citizens, people in the U.S. I can't believe that this country I might have visited a few years ago now is recording 30 homicides in a week. They would be alarmed. They would take objection to that.
I want you to be very careful what you're saying there, because it's very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
People who have visited St. Lucia, fellow Caribbean people who know St. Lucia and St. Lucians, they might be outraged. But I have no reason to believe that most of the people from St. Lucia who live overseas would behave any differently from the way we behave over here.
Well, I disagree with you on that. I disagree with you on that.
And how do I judge that? I judge it by the usual everybody's Bible, the jottings on Facebook.
No, that's not the reaction I get from St. Lucians in the diaspora. They seem to be more alarmed, more taken aback by what is happening in St. Lucia compared to what citizens here, how they're expressing themselves and how they are responding to it.
Yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about. The alarming, we go through our alarm periods too. You know, that's what I'm talking about, Tim. If you're a serious person living anywhere, but especially if you're a citizen of a country, and you have in that little island of 180,000 people, and in 1 week you had 30 homicides, and you would know that those 30 homicides will be treated like when it was 10, when it was 2, even on national days when you have 6. You know it will be treated 30, will ultimately be treated the same way. What is more, if a minister of government, if a politician, put it that way, if a politician comes out to say something on it, it will be nothing different from what was said previously.
I agree with you on that one. I agree with you on that point.
But just do a little thinking back, because history is everything. History explains why we are where we are, in fact, who we are. History explains that. You heard Hilaire recently talk about, you have to use a nice phrase there, the merchants of debt.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear him say anything at all to indicate there was anything unusual going on in the country? I mean, the merchants of debt. What he said was the police should ask them for anything they want. Huh?
Yes.
We know that's hyperbole. Because I would think the first thing the police, if they could get whatever they wanted, they would want some of the allegations made against them by government people would have been investigated so that they could be cleared, so that they could feel better within themselves, so that their families would not look at them with suspicion, so that the public would have trust in them to begin with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That's number one. The police would demand that their reputation be cleared. That if the police know what we have been hearing for quite a while, in fact, from a report by the government, that the people who are facilitating the people who are the biggest facilitators of crime in the country are government politicians and government officials, the police, and businessmen. Why? I think the police would ask at least one aspect or two aspects of that to be investigated again to clear them up. It would also cause people to be reassured that whoever police officers, whoever government officials and government politicians were facilitated of crime would be brought to some kind of, to answer some questions. The police would like that, you know. I also want to point out, Tim, that doing for the police is not nearly the same as doing something about the random killings in this country. And I think we should avoid saying crime categorically because crime could suggest pickpocketing. We are talking primarily of people being killed worse than dogs. Worse than dogs. I'm talking about dogs again. I mean, not only has it taken an inordinate, what's the word, inordinate amount of time to get some reports from samples of what ostensibly may have killed Tyson, but shouldn't by now we should have heard something, if not from the handler himself, but from his bosses? Because everybody knows how. You don't have to do a little reading. And even a couple of questions you ask here, you get the answers. That the police dog, canine, must be treated in a particular fashion. It can't be any dog anybody's patting around and so on, for good reasons. That dog must be properly fed, and that feeding must be, in fact, accounted for, put in the and log books. When did the dog feel sick? When did it last see a vet? And the best, we don't need any experts to tell us those things, do we, Tim?
We don't, no.
We can get the handler to talk to the people. The reassurance of the people matters. But here's my big point when I asked you about my main point, or the 30. The people don't give a damn. We don't give a damn, Tim. A gentleman who spoke to you there, I thought, wow. I sit there, and that's what I do a lot these days, listen to your callers. And that gentleman spoke with passion. He cares. You can tell that man cares. Mm-hmm. And the part that's worse is that the intelligence of those of us who have intelligence, our intelligence is being insulted by people who are themselves demonstrably idiots, who should not be in charge of the country. And I'm not talking about any one politician. A lot of people have taken turns being in charge of the country who should not be in charge of the country. They are not fit. They don't have the mental attitude. They don't have the aspiration. They don't care enough about the country. They just don't care. Most people, the impression with most people has for a long time now been that politicians go into politics because it's the best place to get rich. You get rich overnight unaccountably. You cannot go to the bank and put a certain amount in there without a bunch of questions having to be answered, Tim. You cannot deposit a certain amount of money in the bank without first satisfying the bank that everything is kosher. You know that?
I know. Not more than $10,000.
Good. But we have integrity commission. We have every kind of commission. We have every kind of office, every kind of standards bureau. None of those things functions. None of those things reports back to the people. So they might as well not be there. We see people getting rich overnight. It does not bother, rich in the public sector. And it does not bother us. So everything that's going on, and the country is doomed. I'm sorry to say that. The country is doomed unless there is some kind of natural disaster to wipe us out and for us to start over again, hopefully with a better mindset. Because nothing bothers anybody, Tim. Your show Yeah, sure, it's great. But I think in the main, it gives people a time to rant. Because it doesn't have the facility to pick on, let's say, the guy comes up with something and spend the whole show doing it. Because there are so many things to be discussed that are only discussed superficially, just like the ministers of government. How dare ministers of government interview themselves? That is like pooping on everybody's face, And ministers of government who are supposed to be accountable to the people are being interviewed by themselves. You got what I'm saying there? I want to repeat that. The people who are in charge of our country, who are supposed by law to be accountable to the people, their version of accounting is to be asked questions that are obviously PR questions, which they ask themselves and move on. How many issues I had a list of them, How many issues do we have that we have forgotten? And elections are around the corner. Kenny Anthony said, Kenny Anthony said a lot of things that he didn't do, but even the things he said are important, and maybe he couldn't do them because he's living in St. Lucia. You ever thought about that? That once in a while we get a guy who starts off well, and then the guy changes. And then we don't stop to wonder, why did this guy change?
I mean, he realizes that he can get away with anything and he will not be held accountable.
I want to look at another side of that, Tim.
No, I'm not looking at another side. I'm just telling you that along the way, you mean well. And those politicians, they become complacent because they know that they lack the checks and balances that are very are very much evident in other jurisdictions. Those are lacking in the case of St. Lucia.
I want to agree that immediately, that to me is the general impression. But once in a while we get somebody that appears to be different, and then before you know it, he's changed and become one of the boys. Because if he doesn't, he'll be drowned, Tim. He'll be drowned if he doesn't.
Even if he's Prime Minister? Even if he's Prime Minister?
I wonder, while I criticize Kenny Anthony, I also keep in mind a number of things Kenny Anthony did that were done under pressure. I know. The Bloom Cooper, the time when Compton was right after the elections.
Mm-hmm.
That was not a Kenny thing. Other people drove that because they wanted their own vindictive revenge on Compton. It didn't work anyway.
Well, he wasn't being a leader at the time, if that is the case. Because a leader has to have a particular perspective and lead in a particular direction for the benefit of the wider society. But if you're going to do things because people will bully you into doing it, then you are not a leader at that point. But you have 1 more minute. Rick, you have 1 more minute to conclude.
Boy,
1 more minute.
I have never thought any of those guys are leaders. I keep telling you they are prime ministers, so stop thinking them as leaders. So they are prime ministers, and they have to have the support of their party, the donors. They have all this kind of support to think of. So even when we have a guy who appears to be okay, he's soon going to be turned because the country itself is rotten to the core. And if we were not rotten to the core, both red, blue, red, and yellow or whatever would be very disturbed, very worried that murder, this country has become Murder Incorporated, and all we do is call an appropriate show, because it's only our show they call to complain about those killings and whatnot. No other show. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Rick. Amanda, good afternoon to you again. Let's find out what is happening in the chat room.
Tim, a few comments from earlier. NewsSpin says crime under Philip J. isn't just rising, it's protected, because when someone's son, someone's boy, someone's comrade gets caught, a favor gets called. Stop acting like it's just a police problem when the rot starts right in your cabinet. A commentary reads, this country has become lawless. Check how people drive on the roads. Check where and how they park their vehicles. See how people walk in the streets. People drink anywhere in all corners. Vendors sell alcohol any and everywhere. NewsSpinner says, caller, the exchange won't work because the judicial system is already infiltrated. Another commentary reads, yes, caller, I've been hearing that from the birds in the ghettos. The most dangerous criminals are now contractors under this government. Madness. Someone says here, this prime minister needs to learn how to speak as a commander-in-chief in order to address the nation concerning this crime situation. A commentary reads, the same people complaining about the police not doing enough are the same ones saying excessive force when they start doing their jobs. I remember when the police officers were ensuring that the school children not loiter in car streets, out them on buses, etc. What happened? The parents started complaining. When the police started raiding the ghettos, the citizens started complaining. A NewsSpinner says PJP and Healy are saying everyone must join in the fight against crime. They need to say everyone except Alan Shasney, because when he gives them solutions to the crime situation, they dispose of it in the garbage. Another commentary reads, I am so upset with the way the criminals are handled. Shake my head. No one is being arrested for these killings. A commentary reads, the people in the diaspora are generally more knowledgeable and informed than those on the island. Someone says here, take a look into the judicial system as well. Commentary reads, Boy Scouts, Girl Guides, Cadets, debate clubs, etc. All these groups at a school level are important. We also need more community-based groups, mothers and father groups, neighborhood watch, etc. Commentary says a lot of children are being abused as well, which is probably why they seem so heartless and prone to committing crimes. They need more counselors in schools. Commentary reads, Elwin St. Rose should replace Win Girard for ancillary canneries with a promise of national security. I believe with his qualifications and experience in the army, he will be able to give proper strategies to combat crime. Commentary reads, the more this lingers, the more the RSLPF looks suspicious. That's regarding Tyson's death. Commentary says St. Lucia is crying for someone to press the reset button. A NewsSpinner says their accountability has been dead and buried for some time now. Who will be the political Lazarus by bringing back accountability and transparency to elected office? A few comments here on YouTube. It reads, everybody's complaining about the crime in St. Lucia, but nobody is talking about the lack of trust in the police and the government due to impacts. A commentator says, yes, they are protected, money to do as they please. Why should we bother about little people? No, one needs to be able to put their feet in people's shoes to make meaningful change. A commentator also via YouTube, it reads, so what about the police who shot after the fellows on the bikes? No one is talking about that. That's real criminal activities. Back to you, Tim.
Thank you so much. And also in the chat room on YouTube, somebody said, Tim, I asked my son his opinion on the crime problem, and he said to me, heaven is the place to be. His response left me speechless. Still to come, more of your calls, your WhatsApp messages, and we'll have a final report from you, Amanda, and we'll be hearing as well from Lisa Jawayer, the St. Lucia Labour Party candidate for Castries South East, and she speaks about character assassination.
Everybody! You asked and we listened. If you missed it, we're bringing back the Quartz Mega 3-hour flash sale this Thursday, September 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. only. Enjoy a massive 40% off store-wide on credit purchases and 15% off on cash purchases. 3 hours, one chance, huge savings you can't afford to miss. This Thursday, September 25th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. sharp. Terms and conditions apply. Quartz, bringing value home.
Ouais, messie, pas jodi moi la ka espérer plein bon glow. Si t'en la pani pressure. Moi ni tongue, moi ni glow, mais money pressure. Ou savez ça moi besoin? A pomme. Ça c'est bêtise. Moi ka aller ko Europa. You need tout pomme pour toute condition. Qui pour kay, qui pour business. You need pli mer pour pomme cette ici. You ka ranger pomme aussi qui besoin service. Prendre pompe yo c'est Léo. Pompe ça c'est major. I bon tout bonnement. Tant si ten moins actuellement. Glo ka fante. Europa ni pompe glo Léo under pour les 9 juin et gris. Visitez Europa ambassade Gozile. Les mots au téléphone 452 0763.
Essier. Don't tell me that tire flat again. I just changed that tire.
Wait, what? You just changed that tire?
Well, I bought a used one because you didn't give me enough money.
Oh, I see. Well, you know what? Chivi's Tire Shop only carry brand new quality tires at affordable prices with free installation.
Hey, it seems you're working at Chivi's Tire Shop. How you know all that?
Come on, Brenda. The tire shop down the road from our home in the American Drywall Building.
Oh, yes. I forgot. Well, you know what, Patrick? Let's go there right now. Take your wallet. Let's go.
Shivi's Tire Shop, located at the American Drywall Building, Vic Boutte. Call or WhatsApp 584-5986. Shivi's Tire Shop. Pay less, drive more.
Compagnie Kouan Lucilec a informé public là qui commençait mercredi 17 juillet, samedi 28 septembre l'année ici. Lucilec a une dernière phase campagne replacement mita. Ça c'est un pas en commitment compagnie Lucilec pour produire bon qualité service qui sort avec reliable. C'est mita neuf là qui fait assurer courant qui servit miséré douette sans les et compagnie Lucilec délivrer un service qui à niveau standard qui haut. Pratique qui mita qui mérite replacer qui recevrait avertissement notice par moins qui 48 net temps et bien 2 jours d'avance. Et joie pour faire travail là, un technicien qui habillé en uniforme Lucilec qui présenté carte d'identité et replacer mita qui estimé qui durer moins qui 30 minutes. Et pour faire assurer tout bagaille marcher bien, Lucilec a encouragé les pratiques pour faire à l'aise pour y côté mita. Département service pratique Lucilec qui répond n'importe question et bien adressé concerne à sous replacement sémita. Adressé concerne nous pour département service pratique Lucilec à l'IMO téléphone 457 4440 et bien section mita à l'IMO téléphone 457 4607. Lucilec a remercié pratique pour coopération. La copoine exiport durant tant travail là qu'a continué.
Tired of sky-high bills and a planet on the brink? It's time to go green without burning your pockets. At First National Bank, we are here to make saving the planet affordable. Whether you're installing solar panels, purchasing a water tank, upgrading to an inverter AC, or buying a hybrid vehicle, we've got the green to help you go green. Fast approval, low interest rates, and Mother Nature approved. Your future self will thank you. Visit firstnationalbankonline.com or call 455-7000 for more information to help you turn your green dreams into clean realities. First National Bank, here for you.
It's in the feeling in our weak side. It's in the meaning in our spot. It is the thing that sets us apart. Who we are, 'cause the rhythm of life keeps pumping. Together going strong, no matter what we keep things flowing. For the people we will go all in. Our hands up in the sky, celebrating. Come let your rhythm flow.
You know that feeling when you have an uncontrollable desire for fried chicken? That's the KFC. A substance that stimulates your senses to identify the aroma of our secret recipe or an extra crispy crunch from any distance. It's invisible to the naked eye, but you can feel it traveling throughout your body, taking control. All so you can enjoy a juicy bite of KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Have you had a stroke or symptoms like numbness, headaches, or back pain? When your body sends a warning, don't wait. MRI is the gold standard for seeing what other imaging can miss, like brain damage, spine issues, and early cancer. At La Clinique de Corps, we are the only center in St. Lucia offering the most advanced MRI technology. Fast, radiation-free, expertly interpreted, and insurance accepted. Call 451-6559 or WhatsApp 721-9950. La Clinique de Corps, Center of Excellence, where quality meets expertise.
Yes. That was the Lucia Top 5 for Carnival 2025. Yes. Welcome back to Real Men Take Charge, guys. Real Men, check up.
To all my listeners out there, visit a men's health clinic in your area today.
PSA checkups are now free.
It's private, it's quick, it's efficient, and convenient.
Music touches the soul, but health keeps the rhythm going. Fellas, it's time to check your PSA levels. It's free, it's simple, it can save your life.
Brothers, do you not know that your bodies are the temples of the Holy Spirit? Let us be wise stewards of our lives. prostate test saves lives. Let us not wait until it is too late.
To be a champion, you need to show up for yourself. I'm encouraging every man to take the step. Get checked. Stay strong. Do it for the team. Do it for your family.
My daddy is a hero, and I want him around for a very long time. Daddy, if you care about me, please take care of your health.
I faced colon and prostate cancer head on, and I'm still standing. Early detection saved my life. If I can do it, so can you. Don't wait. Get tested. It's free, it's simple, and it will definitely save your life also.
Real men.
Real men.
Real men take charge.
Real men check up.
Need branded apparel that looks sharp and shows up on time? Welcome to Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts. We specialize in custom embroidery and t-shirt printing for businesses, teams, events, you name it. From embroidered logos on polished Oxford shirts, available in a variety of colors for men and women, to bold, high-quality printed tees that turn heads, we do it all. Bring your own shirts or choose from ours. Small runs, big orders, rush jobs, no problem. At Imprinted Designs, we're built for speed, efficiency, and clean professional results delivered on time, every time. So if you want your brand to stand out, not wait around, come down to Imprinted Designs at the Valmore Plaza or hit us up at 451-2920 or email address imprinteddesignsSLU@gmail.com. Imprinted Designs, where every stitch counts.
My apologies yet again. I don't think we'll be able to play you that clip of Lisa Jawayer. Some technical issue there. My apologies. Let's see if we could play another clip, this time of the United Workers' Party candidate for Babno, Mr. Titus Preville. And he's reacting to news that the government of St. Lucia will be giving public sector workers a $500 bonus in December of this year.
I see there is an initiative where the government is seeking to pay civil servants, I think $500
at Christmas time.
At Christmas time. When I was asking myself, I know civil servants are intelligent people. They would see that for what it is.
Yeah.
And I said, let me just give one simple example to help us understand. We've been paying fuel at $16 a gallon now for a while, and we know that the excise tax on that is in excess almost $4, but more than that. That same fuel that we pay $16 for could really be sold to us at anywhere between $13.50 and $14. If you look at what is happening in Dominica, they're selling their fuel is sold at $13.59, say $13.60 a gallon. Antigua, it is almost $14. So basically, if you were to see in St. Lucia.
And by the way, I need to establish, do they get their fuel from the same sources?
The same sources, sources as us.
Because you see, it's one thing if they get it more expensive than us, but and that's the point I think people need to bear in mind.
So here it is. You are selling fuel to St. Lucians at about $2.40 more for a gallon than you really should. And if you were to take a regular car, say 10 gallons, say a vehicle holds 10 gallons when full.
Right.
If you fill your vehicle, you are paying $24 more than you should. And if you fill your vehicle twice for the month, you are paying $48 more than you should.
Right.
And over a period of 1 year, 12 months, you're actually paying $576 more than you should. Yet the government gives you $500. So understand this. You are paying more. If you are a civil servant and you own a car, you are paying $240 more compared to the Dominican guy.
Right.
You're paying $240 more than you should. I mean, $2.40 more on every gallon than you should. And therefore, at the end of a month, when you fool your tongue twice, you're paying $48 more than you should. At the end of a year, you're paying $576 more than you should, and the government comes and gives you $500, and somehow you should be very happy that you've been given that.
Now that's interesting that you made, that you worked out the maths on that one and so on. But what about the 2.5% I'm paying on?
I have not even factored that one in. I just gave a very simple one.
So in other words, it's our money that they've taken from us and given us some of it back for our votes.
And you don't own a car.
Yeah.
You don't own a car, but you're getting $500 at the end of the year. Do a simple exercise. Just take a basket of goods that you shop every month. A basket of goods. Apply the health and security levy on that. Then you look at that for 12 months in the year and see how much money you have paid out in a health and security levy, which is a misnomer.
Right.
And then the government is going to give you $500. Really, how much have you gotten?
Right.
So I think these things are smoke screens that you would see flashed before civil servants who will see right through it anyway. They recognize that they have been given nothing. In fact, the government has taken more from them than has been given in the case of a 10-gallon vehicle, a vehicle with capacity of 10 gallons. You see it played out all the time.
You just heard there from the United Lucas Party candidate for Babino, Mr. Titus Previll. As we're getting all set to conclude our broadcast, let's turn our attention now to the NewsSpin question of the day. The NewsSpin question of the day: why is Lisa Jawayer worthy of being voted Castries Southeast MP? Why is Lisa Jawayer worthy of being voted Castries Southeast MP? Our NewsSpin question of the day. And finally, the NewsSpin news of the day. It reads: stop runaway AI before it's too late. Experts beg the United Nations. Signatories include 10 Nobel Prize winners. Stop runaway AI before it's too late. Experts beg the United Nations. Signatories include 10 Nobel Prize winners. The NewsSpin news of the day, bringing to a conclusion another edition of the world's most monitored talk show. Don't forget to like the video, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and click the notification bell to help the channel grow. My name is Timothy Poleon. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Goodbye.